Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Women Inspiration mini series. My name is Lakshmi Raja Ram, and every week I invite women to this discussion who bring their personality, their passion, their unique skill or talent, and just their contributions to the society in one way, shape, or form so that they can be a motivation and an inspiration to others. And today, I have a very special guest, Geetanjali Mittal. She is an English literature assistant professor from the prestigious Punjab University. She taught there for many years before moving to Minnesota 7 years ago. And the reason why she is joining me today is to have a discussion around a very important topic called The Women in My Circle Is Me. So you'll see from this background, many times we have women in our own lives, women who have influenced us through our homes, our school, our career path, and they have shaped who we are, our personality. They are our cheerleaders and our support. So Geetanjali is here to talk a lot more about that because she has certainly experienced this firsthand. So please join me in welcoming Geetanjali Mittal to today's program. Hi Geetanjali, welcome to the program. How are you doing?
Hi Lakshmi, I'm good. I hope you can hear me.
Absolutely loud and clear. It's lovely to face see you. We
Yeah,
have been
same
sharing
here,
a few
Lakshmi.
phone calls and conversations, so I'm delighted to have you on board. Welcome. And in my introduction, Geetanjali, I was sharing about today's topic that the women in my circle is me. And there's so much that I want to discuss and share with you and talk to you about because you have shared with me your personal journey and how women along your journey have helped shape who you are, have influenced you, and have been a pillar of support in your life. So let's just get down to it and start with some early childhood influences, Geetanjali. And who were the women in when you were a young child, who influenced you, and what did you learn from them?
Yeah, so I just feel, first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity for sharing my story with the wonderful women in our community and also in the world. Uh, for me, life has been kind of really interesting, and I noticed this pattern quite late in my life. I should have realized it earlier, but that's how it is with me. But I have had a chance to be around wonderful women, and the very first influence that I had in my life was my mother, which at that time I did not realize that much because sometimes we take it for granted when we have somebody so close and wonderful around us. So as a teenager, I used to fight with her a lot, but now
As we all have done. Trust me, everyone listening will resonate with this because we all have taken our mothers for granted and we all have kind of had rebellious fighting scenes with her. So yes, go ahead.
Definitely. So that was there, but then I realized as I was growing up and I started facing challenges of my own, being in a patriarchal society. My dad had been a wonderful person who always wanted us to be having good education and independent. But at the same time, I always felt that my mother, indirectly, she influenced us a lot in the sense that she'll be very respectful to the norms, but if she felt something that would be unjust, she'll definitely stand up and respectfully present her views. I think from her, I learned that a lot, that you should stand up for yourself. And the second thing was, even if you don't agree with a thing, you need to have a way to convey it to people that this is something that you're not comfortable with, but you also have a voice of your own. So you have to stand up for the things that are right in your life. So I think that was one major thing. And then as I was growing up, like I shared with you, I didn't score very well in my education and matriculation. And in India, it kind of makes or breaks your future, so to say. So, but a very influential teacher came into my life in 11th grade, and I would like to name her. Her name is Mrs. Kosumita. So she is one person that was the first one outside my family and relatives to make me realize that I can do something with myself.
You
That
know,
kind of
many,
happened.
many times, myself included, we all sometimes have this one exceptional teacher who becomes our guide, our philosopher, our friend, our mentor, and influences us in a very impactful, deep, profound way. So it sounds like, when you were in those impressionable years of early college years, maybe 11th grade, 12th grade, and into your early college, she was a woman, right, who probably entered your life and changed not just who you are, maybe what you believe in, what you thought you could accomplish. So, can you cite a few examples where you really felt like, had it not been for her, life would have been different for you?
Yes, definitely, Lakshmi. The thing was that when I entered 11th grade, we went for the admissions, and I had a score of 58% in my matriculation, and it's still the lowest in my family so far. So I don't hope anyone to break it. So I'm happy to hold it. So what happened was when my mom went with me for the admission, she was like, she hasn't scored well, but I don't know what she's going to do. And the Kusum ma'am saw my certificate and she said, look at the English marks. She has got good grades in that, and she can do wonderful. Let her go into English literature. And that was the first time somebody, at that point of time, with my that bad scorecard, had shown hope. So I was very happy, and I was like,
So
okay, I
she
have to.
still, she didn't see all the other average marks. She
No,
still saw the potential in you
yes,
and what you were capable of.
yeah. So she was like, why don't you go into English literature? And I was like, okay, I'll go for it. And then I started studying. I love literature anyway, but that was kind of reinforcing it. And then I started working hard on that. And for the 5 years that I stayed in my college, I always scored in the house test. The first position in English literature was always mine. I still have those certificates, and they're very dear to me.
How
And
wonderful. Like one teacher's positive words of encouragement changed and shaped your life. You went on to become the assistant professor in English literature in
yes,
Punjab University, which is a very prestigious university. And, you went on to do such wonderful things because of those few kind words of inspiration and motivation from your teacher. And I'm sure she was a pillar of support throughout those years, kind of
yes.
motivating you and encouraging you, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm still in touch with her. It's been almost 20 years or more than 20 years now. It's the 26 years since I first saw her. So I'm still in touch with her. I text her. I get lovely messages from her. And it's wonderful. And I have had wonderful teachers even doing my MPhil, doing my master's. I had wonderful teachers in my life. My MPhil teacher, she lives in Canada. I lovingly call her Pammy, ma'am, but her name is Paramjeet Kaur. So she's another influence that I had in my life who always kind of taught me that you can do it. In my MPhil dissertation, she worked so well with me. It was like a difficult period in my life at that point of time. I was alone in Chandigarh, and she was like, no, you can do it. And she would very politely say, Geetanjali, do you think if we can change it to this way? She would never say, no, you haven't written well. So she would always say, what do you think if we converted this sentence this way? Do you think it would work better? And that was again very helpful. And it was not about being a teacher, it was about being a supporter of a woman.
Mm.
So these two women, they have always been there. And apart from them, there are wonderful women teachers in my life who have influenced me. If I start naming them, the list won't end ever.
And you know
But
what? That's the thing I realize more and more, that our teachers play such a pivotal role in shaping who we are as a person, as an individual. So, Gitanjali, tell me, how did this change your personality from early childhood through your adult years? When you and I discussed with each other, you said that you were a shy, reserved kind of a person, very introvertish, maybe loved your books and things like that. How
yes.
did your growth happen through these experiences, through the support and inspiration from these mentors and guides that you've had?
It was really wonderful. Even I sometimes wonder. It's really interesting to go back and look at how things changed in my life. In the sense that I was so shy that when I stayed in Punjab University for 2 years, I hardly spoke to 10 or 12 people for 2 years. So it's more like going to the department, listening to my lectures, performing, and then just coming back to my hostel. But what I learned initially from Kusum Mem was like, you can do well if you work hard. And from Pammy Ma'am, it was like, whatever the circumstances are there, you should, if you keep on working hard and you have faith in yourself, you can do a lot. And then being an introvert person, it was very difficult for me to share my point of view, to talk to people, and then say how I feel. So I was like, maybe I'm not able to share because I don't feel that comfortable with my own self. But then again, there were other people in my life who came, again, very influential women. There was a colleague of mine, Kirti ma'am, who taught me a very beautiful thing, that dance with a child if you want to. It doesn't matter whether it's raining. It doesn't matter if people are looking at you. It's about you. It's about your heart.
How wonderful. What a one. And here you are today talking to the world through this forum, sharing your insight and knowledge with this beautiful self that you are, this confident self that you are. You are a voice of inspiration. You are a voice that might influence some other young girl watching you, or any person. This is not limited just for women, but any other person watching you can take inspiration from your words, from how you have realized what you have realized about yourself. That is so beautiful. Geetanjali, thank you for sharing that. So let's fast forward a little bit to current day. I know you've had so many, you've recognized this pattern, and
Yeah.
now I'm happy to say that you are partnering with none other than Raj Chaudhary ji, and our audiences, I'm sure, know who Raj Chaudhary is. She is the founder of Seva, the organization in the Twin Cities, and she is such an active member, volunteer, activist, community supporter. Just I don't have enough words to recognize her efforts. But you are working with Raj under her guidance and her mentorship with Seva. So how has that collaboration been, and what have you learned from, or what are you continuing to learn from Rajji in this regard of women inspiration?
Uh, when it comes to Raji, I think when I came to the US almost seven and a half years ago, life had been very different as an immigrant woman, and also having no friends here at all. So for almost 6 years, it was more like trying to find my roots, trying to find my anchor. And when I went to interview Raji for a mental health survey that I was conducting last year in March, it was very interesting. It was March 2019, and I asked her for some help, that I want to reach out to the community, and I'm unable to do so when it comes to mental health. That's another topic very close to my heart. So she was like, why don't you come to our health fair and let's talk there, and you can reach out to people. So I went there, and then I tried to reach out to people. And after that, I wanted to interview Raji because I had seen her in action. And I was like, let me talk to this wonderful woman that I have met today. So because I had talked, I had emailed, but this was kind of really a big chance to be with her and talk to her and get ideas from her. So I interviewed her, and I was very much influenced, all the more so, with the work that she was doing, that she's still doing, despite the obstacles of patriarchy and age and many other barriers that our community has faced. So it's wonderful to see how, as an immigrant, she has come and created a niche, not just for herself, but also the women in our community.
Absolutely.
I talked to her, and she was like, why don't you join us? And was like, wow, what more do I want? I always wanted to work with women, and here I am with this person. I started working with her, and within a week or so, I just felt that as if I have found my anchor, and she's still my anchor. So
That
here
is a validation in itself, that you have made it here. You have made it here, and you are working with none other than her, and you have so much to learn from her, so much to she there's so much to gain over here in this relationship, and I'm sure that your contributions will be so valuable through the work that you do through this organization. But today's episode, of course, was focusing more on the women inspiration. And as I said, the title of today's program is The Women in My Circle Is Me. And by that, what I mean, Geetanjali, is that yes, you have had powerful women in your circle, but today, congratulations, because you are that woman who is able to, through your voice, through your contributions, make a difference in other women's lives. So, it has come a full circle. And I really, really thank you for taking this time to talk about such an important topic, so that other people watching can, lean on their support, their circle of women friends, whether it's their moms, their teachers, their aunts, their career people that they have met in their path to their career. But be each other's support, be each other's cheerleader, inspire and motivate each other. That is what this series is about. So I thank you so much. It is a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we get to meet each other very, very soon, Geetanjali.
Definitely, Lakshmi. I just have to say one thing. Like, I read this quote from Maya Angelou, and I have put it up in front of me in the office as well because I loved it so much. And she says that when one woman stands up for herself, she's not just standing up for herself, she's standing up for all the women in this world. So just don't, I'll just say one thing to the women in our community or whoever is listening to it. Even if gender doesn't matter, I would say this one to everyone as a human being, that never underestimate your own potential. Sometimes we just don't know what wonder we do have within us. Sometimes it takes a lot of time for us to realize it. And even late in life, it's not late. Like, age is just a number. Even if you make a difference in the life of one person, that matters too. So just keep on doing the best you can, and don't ever underestimate that you cannot do anything in your life. That's what I have learned in my life from the wonderful women in my life. And all the women that were listening to this video, I would just say one thing, that you all are wonderful, you all are beautiful, you all have a lot to offer to the world. Never ever feel that you don't have that potential. Don't ever other people curtail your ideas, your dreams, or your desires. You can do anything in your life.
Wow, I could not have ended this more beautifully. Maya Angelou is a very favorite of mine as well. So thank you so much for your words, your insights, your inspiration, and your story. Until next time, I hope to see you soon. Stay well and stay healthy, my friend. Bye-bye.
Sure. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you for this opportunity. Everyone, take care and be you, be yourself.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.